out in the studio, and Vicki McKenna, because there's a major announcement we've been teasing for 2 days.
When Mr. Belling decided to take his program and make it podcast only, obviously that means that we're going to have to make some adjustments.
The next generation is here.
In Afternoon Drive, it will be the Dan O'Donnell Show from 3 to 6.
Welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Admit it, ladies and gentlemen. Watching that Vikings game last night made you feel better about the Packers' loss. It's okay. Schadenfreude is a normal human emotion. Tuesday edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show kicks off right now. The Green Bay Packers are back at home, but so too are the Vikings in their 14-win season. So too are the Chicago Bears, who got a big win over the Packers in Week 18 and decided to take Week 19 through Week 1 of next season off for an extended bye. I guess my question now is, do we actually root for the Detroit Lions? I'll be totally honest with you, folks. I'm rooting for a Lions-Bills Super Bowl. The last thing I want to see is a Kansas City Chiefs three-peat. As much as I like Lamar Jackson and want him to shake the "he can't win in the playoffs" tag that is unfairly thrust upon him, Buffalo with its 4 straight Super Bowl losses, Detroit with being Detroit, those are two franchises that deserve to play for everything. We have an update to a story that stemmed from yesterday's or 2 days ago's Packers loss in Philadelphia. And this might be the most perfect ending to this story I could have possibly hoped for. We'll get you that in just a second. Plus, confirmation hearings today for one of President Trump's most controversial nominees, Pete Hegseth, the Fox and Friends morning show host, the decorated soldier who it was thought heading into today might have a difficult climb to get confirmed. Now I think with the way he performed and the way Democrats performed, I would be stunned if every single Republican wasn't on board with his confirmation. It is my prediction after watching much of today's hearings that he is going to be confirmed very, very easily. We have highlights and Dem lowlights from that hearing throughout today's Dan O'Donnell Show, but we kick it off with the cold hard cash contest. We did have a win yesterday on WISN. We had a listener listening to the Clay and Buck show, Leslie from Racine. Actually, it was today at 12 noon. Leslie was listening. Her entry was picked as the winner. She won $1,000. Let's make the next winner you. And speaking of the Buffalo Bills, today's 3 o'clock word is, in fact, Bills. B-I-L-L-S. You have got until 55 past the hour. Go to our website, enter the keyword Bills, and if your entry is picked at random, like Leslie, you could win $1,000 instantly. Yesterday, we told you the story about a Packers fan and her husband or boyfriend or fiancé, her significant other, her beau, if you will, who are from Pennsylvania, but they went to Lincoln Financial Field for Sunday afternoon's Packers-Eagles playoff game. And they were wearing what looked to be Packers starter jackets, mad props for the old school Packers starter jacket. And they were rooting for the Packers. Behind them, though, was an Eagles fan who, being an Eagles fan, was loudmouthed, boorish, and exceptionally foul-mouthed. I am going to issue a warning because while we are going to play the edited audio of what this guy said, it might be clear from the context, the words that he says, and they are very, very vile. He is talking to this young woman who appears to be in her upper 20s. She has since been identified as the girlfriend slash fiance slash possible wife of a guy who runs a Green Bay Packers influencer channel on social media. His last name name is Basara, something like that. I don't have it in front of me. But he was filming the whole thing. And while the music and the crowd noise make it very difficult to hear, you will be able to hear much of what this guy is saying. If you have little ones in the car, if you just picked them up from school, I'll tell you what, put on Baby Shark. By the time Baby Shark is done, if you haven't gone insane, turn this show back up and you can listen to it. But for context, you do need to hear exactly what awful things this guy was saying.
After reviewing the play, the runner was short of the goal line. They got one more yard, though. They're close. Yeah, but they're not in. It's not a touchdown. Yeah. So you don't in the air. Okay, well, don't call her a dumb. She's an ugly dumb. Cool. After the third quarter, I'm ugly. You're doing it? Yup.
Now, the Packers fans are getting props online for showing remarkable restraint as this guy called the woman an ugly, dumb bleep. She responds by kind of rolling her eyes and smiling at the cameras, saying, "Oh, so I'm ugly," and kind of laughs a little bit. The guy, this Tom Basara, was given mad props, especially for not leaping into this guy and pummeling him as a Philadelphia Eagles fan would undoubtedly do if the roles were reversed. Now, yesterday, I was speculating as to whether it would be appropriate for this guy to get kicked out. The punishment, it seems, was going viral. And it was. Within a matter of hours yesterday, this guy was identified and unfortunately doxxed online. His information was posted, his name, his address, and where he works. While no amount of doxing will make up for what he did, there are some, speaking of Schadenfreude, who were taking some glee in the fact that this guy was going to get his just desserts. And once the Philadelphia Eagles did, in fact, get a positive ID on him, they did ban him from all future Philadelphia Eagles games. I thought that might have been just a little bit harsh. What he did say was vile, but after all, it is Philadelphia. And pardon my stereotyping, but this is just sort of what I imagine all boorish 50-something idiots sound like. He gets the lifetime ban. And his employer was also made aware of just what it was he was doing. Where does this guy work? This might be the single greatest twist this story could have possibly taken. He works at a firm, a consulting firm called BCT Partners, based in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Its primary focus, you guessed it, diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's a DEI firm. On its website, according to the New York Post, it aims to, quote, harness the power of diversity, insights, and innovation to transform lives, accelerate equity, and create lasting change. Those are about 5 different liberal buzzwords or phrases packed into one quick company description. And the company said in a statement about this incident, the management at BCT Partners has been made aware of a video circulating involving an employee making offensive remarks outside of the workplace. They did not name the employee, and while his name is pretty much everywhere, I will not name him either. BCT Partners denounces this type of behavior, and we take this matter extremely seriously. As an organization that has always stood for inclusivity, the conduct displayed was completely unacceptable and stands in direct opposition to our company values. We have already begun a full investigation as an internal personnel matter to determine what actions will be taken. We sincerely apologize to everyone affected by this behavior and remain committed to fostering a culture of respect for all. Now, You might think, okay, well, this guy, we can't really tell what his political philosophy is. We have no idea. He looks like one of those awful beer-swilling, redneck, football-watching conservatives. But do you know a single conservative in your life who would go to work at a consulting firm that expressly labels itself as focused on equity and creating lasting change? This guy is almost certainly a New Jersey lib. I cannot tell you, ladies and gentlemen, while I don't like the idea of doxing somebody, while I don't like the idea of somebody's life being turned upside down, while I do believe in the concept of forgiveness and grace, you have no idea how much I love the fact that this guy works for a DEI firm and was using the most misogynistic, hateful language known to humankind. You'll notice I didn't say mankind there because unlike this DEI firm, we here at the Dan O'Donnell Show like to be inclusive and respectful to all. Speaking of DEI, Secretary-designee Pete Hegseth is promising to, once he is confirmed, end DEI in the military, and this is part of a broader cultural shift. We will get into that coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Coming up later this hour, of course, we name the unhinged liberal of the day, a couple of very strong contenders. We'll also check in for the first time this year, first time in the afternoon, with our good friend Dave Spano to get a look at what the markets are doing as President Trump is now less than a week from assuming office. But all week long on this, the final week of Joe Biden's presidency, we're trying to help him get something that he so desperately is looking for, he so desperately longs for. And that's a legacy. Yesterday, he gave his last big foreign policy speech at the State Department. Tomorrow night, he will give his nationally televised farewell address in which he's going to try to make the United States forget about the last 4 years, much like he's forgotten about pretty much everything he's done today. He wants to be remembered for something, anything other than the guy who dropped out of his presidential re-election bid because he wasn't up to the task. And that cognitive decline was laid bare for all the world to see during that debate back in June. He's looking for something for the people to remember him. Well, we here at the Dan O'Donnell Show want to help him out. So all week long, we are playing some of Joe Biden's greatest hits.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
I know what you want.
We choose truth over facts.
And I know what you need.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
But I'm gonna screw it up, yeah, 'cause I'm an idiot.
And for at least 6 more days, he is our president. And we are looking back at the Biden years lovingly, joyously, and with rose-colored glasses at all the good times old Uncle Joe has brought us. In one particularly great news conference from just about 6 months ago, he had 2 of the best blunders of his entire presidency. First, on, July 11th, 2024. Both of these are from the same press conference. I couldn't believe it when I was finding these audio clips because both of them on their own are probably within the top 10 all-time Biden gaffes. The fact that both of them happened just a couple of minutes apart while he was trying to convince the world that he's absolutely mentally fit enough to continue being president and running for a second term is rather amazing. First, he uncorked this beauty.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
First of all, unforgivable he misgendered Vice President Trump like that. If that wasn't bad enough, visiting Washington at the time was none other than Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. And this happened when Biden tried to introduce him.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. We're going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President.
I'm better.
You are a hell of a lot better.
Really, though, could anything be better than that? Joe Biden's greatest hits throughout the Dan O'Donnell Show today. Coming up next, the 2 minutes that will convince you, as it convinced me, that Pete Hegseth will be confirmed easily as Trump's defense secretary.
Our new and improved iHeartRadio app has made it even easier to enjoy the radio station's podcasts and playlists you love. How? Well, we've added everything you love about your car radio into the free iHeartRadio app. With easy-to-use presets, you can now save your favorite stations on the app, just like in your car. And with the all-new live radio dial, it's easier than ever to discover new stations you'll love based on your location or favorite genre. Find out what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. I've been a big proponent of Lynch for a while now. Here's why. They're literally a family dealership and have been since 1957. That's increasingly rare in the dealership world today, but the Lynch family employs 500 plus people who are all dedicated to taking care of you. They've got a wide selection of new and used vehicles, extended service department hours for early drop-offs and late pickups, and most importantly, they're proud supporters of our local communities and schools. They also stand behind what they sell with Lynch-certified used vehicles, including a 168-point inspection to determine eligibility, an unparalleled 90-day or 3,000-mile certified guarantee, and a 10-day 500-mile exchange policy. And when you pair this with the Lynch Protected program, they cover your paint, your windshield, and your tires. It's easy to see why you should consider Lynch. Check them out today at shoplynch.com.
Slipping on the ice?
Ugh.
Someone else shoveling your driveway.
Ah.
Cold feet?
Ugh.
Toasty tootsies.
Ah.
Waking up to a cold house?
Ugh.
With no warm air coming from the register.
Ugh.
And discovering your antiquated furnace is DOA.
Ugh.
But now, this is you learning that Mr. Holland's Home Services can install a new, fully warranted, highly efficient comfort system.
Ah.
Better yet, you can enjoy consistent, cozy comfort with payments as low as $79 a month with approved credit.
Ah.
Because you deserve it.
Ah.
If your failing furnace is showing signs of old age, be proactive. Call Mr. Holland's Home Services to schedule the installation of your brand new, fully functional comfort system for a low monthly rate. And take your winter from
Ugh.
to 866-992-1717. Or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. Ready to put some thaw in your We can help.
When it comes to managing your money, we know you have plenty of firms to choose from. So what makes Ellenbecker Investment Group stand out? We are grateful to be recently recognized by 3 respected organizations. The Waukesha County Business Alliance named EIG Small Business of the Year. The Business Journal lists us as a best place to work. And the Better Business Bureau of Wisconsin presented EIG with our 4th Torch Award for Ethics and Integrity. In a sea of similarities, Ellenbecker Investment Group stands out.
Warshawski trial attorney Frank Crivello here.
Folks, I'm Victor Harding. Frank is selected Best Lawyers 2024 Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year.
More impressive is Victor Harding named Product Liability Attorney of the Year again for 2024.
It may sound boastful to mention these prestigious awards.
It's not boastful considering if you or someone you love is injured, you need to know 2 attorneys from the same personal injury firm being chosen by other lawyers and judges for these caliber of awards is very rare.
Heaven forbid you ever need an injury claim made on your behalf. If you do, the quality of your attorney and law firm will have a greater impact on the outcome than even the facts of your case.
Former clients, other lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, and even insurance adjusters,
often our adversaries,
refer their family and friends to Warshawski because they know Warshawski will achieve maximum compensation.
Injured? It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
That's Warshawski.com.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
If you would have asked me before today's confirmation hearing for Pete Hegseth started what his chances were of being confirmed by the Senate, I would have said 50-50, maybe 60-40. After hearing his opening statement, after hearing the answers that he had to Democrat questions, and almost as importantly, hearing Democrats absolutely embarrass themselves by using an outdated playbook of gotcha politics, I would actually put Hegseth's chances at above 90%. And coincidentally, as I was sort of thinking that in my head, I'm not sure how good X's algorithms are or how good their Grok AI system is yet. But it seemed as though I'm sitting in my office and it seemed as though they could actually read my mind, because I kid you not, I was thinking about this. What are his chances right now? And I saw a post on X saying that the poly market betting odds of Pete Hegseth getting confirmed shot up to about 90% today. They're probably above 90% right now. It's a futures betting site for those unfamiliar. If you're unfamiliar with poly market, you probably didn't listen to the Dan O'Donnell midday show because we talked about this almost endlessly. It's not the perfect way of predicting the future. It was remarkably accurate. If you take together Polymarket, Predictit, and there was 1 or 2 other sites there, Kashi or something like Kalshi, something like that, came on late. It basically is a better way of taking a look at how something is going to unfold than horribly biased pollsters like, say, Ann Selzer of the Des Moines Register, who said that Kamala Harris was going to beat Trump in Iowa. Turns out Trump won by about 14. As expected, you don't get that on Polymarket because it registers people actually putting their literal money where their mouths are. What really did it for me today, however, was over and above the Democrat craziness, over and above where the Republican whip count is, the number of Republicans who are probably going to vote for Hegseth. The thing that really did it for me was this 1 minute and 18 second section of his opening statement. If you hear nothing else from the highlights, from anything having to do with Pete Hegseth's confirmation hearing, if you hear nothing else about Pete Hegseth, I want you to hear this. This 1 minute and 18 seconds, I mistakenly called it 2 minutes before the break. In just 1 minute and 18 seconds, right now, Pete Hegseth proves why he's going to be confirmed and why I believe he's actually going to be a great defense secretary.
As President Trump also told me, we've repeatedly placed people atop the Pentagon with supposedly the right credentials, whether they are retired generals, academics, or defense contractor executives. And where has it gotten us? He believes, and I humbly agree, that it's time to give someone with dust on his boots the helm. a change agent, someone with no vested interest in certain companies or specific programs or approved narratives. My only special interest is the warfighter. Deterring wars, and if called upon, winning wars by ensuring our warriors never enter a fair fight. We let them win, and we bring them home. Like many of my generation, I've been there. I've led troops in combat. I've been on patrol for days. I've pulled a trigger down range, heard bullets whiz by, flex-cuffed insurgents, called in close air support, led medevacs, dodged IEDs, pulled out dead bodies, and knelt before a battlefield cross. This is not academic for me. This is my life. I led then, and I will lead now.
I don't know about you. I listened to that. I almost registered for the military. I'm like, sign me up. I want to fight for this guy. Hegseth didn't just bring it in his opening statement. He so deftly deflected questions from hostile Democrats that he frankly embarrassed them, including Elizabeth Warren, in what I believe to be the most viral moment of the entire hearing. Warren was hammering him on whether or not he was going to join the military-industrial complex and start working for a defense contractor immediately after he leaves his role as defense secretary, almost certainly when Trump leaves office in 2029. He could stay on with President J.D. Vance, but that remains to be seen. Generals have to wait 10 years before they're allowed to work for a defense contractor, and the reasons for that are rather obvious. You don't want to have impropriety or the appearance of impropriety with people who are responsible for Defense Department spending, then go to work for the very people who they might have been allocating government contracts to. Are you paying attention, Biden family? We have rules in place to sort of avoid the possibility that public figures can be bribed. Warren was asking Hegseth about this, and Hegseth's answer again reiterated just how effective he is and just how qualified, just how good he is at least deflecting Democratic criticism.
The question I have for you on this is, will you put your money where your mouth is and agree that when you leave this job, you will not work for the defense industry for 10 years?
Senator, it's not even a question I've thought about because it's not
about it right now.
It's not one. My motivation for this job.
I understand that. I just need a yes or no here.
Come next.
Time is short. I just need a yes or no.
I would consult with the president about what the policy should be at the Defense Department.
In other words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years, but you're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
I'd confirm him just for getting everybody to laugh at Liz Warren, but that's just me. I am Dan O'Donnell. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, it's Vicki McKenna. It's that time again. Time for the Vicki McKenna Canadian Fishing Adventure at Ballard's Black Island on Lake of the Woods, Ontario. Here's what you need to know. From August 15th to the 21st, we'll be Grand Slam fishing every day with guides, and all you need to do is show up. It's all inclusive, so your meals, lodging, non-alcoholic beverages, even your fishing pole is included. Get the details at blackisland.com, or better yet, call 218-634-1996. That's 218-634-1996, and tell them you want the Vicki McKenna Canadian Fishing Adventure.
Great Midwest Bank has document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems, a 100% locally owned and managed business technology company. The bank's IT systems administrator, Michael Quizon, comments on the value of local.
We call on them at any point, they're there. We ask them any questions that we have, they're there.
James Imaging Systems, local business technology solutions, local support, local accountability. Luther Gray, Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales for the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra. industry.
If an issue does arise, they're very prompt, polite, and professional. It makes me feel empowered because I find it very easy to resolve something.
James Imaging Systems client Al Leidinger, president of Matheson Manufacturing, summarized the benefit of local.
James Imaging has been a really good partner with us from the beginning.
Go with local. Go with James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
You got to get to Built Right today. Dan O'Donnell here for my longtime friends at Built Right Furniture. Built Right's New Year's sale and $1 million clearance sell-off are extended. Give your home a refresh in the new year. Built Right has the most experienced team and the best selection of affordable, better quality furniture and mattresses. 4 generations, 97 years strong. Built Right's one location always saves you money. So tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield, just off I-894.
Get answers to your remodeling questions from Milwaukee Neri Home Improvement Council members on this week's Remodeling Show. To find a trusted, qualified, dependable, and local remodeling specialist, turn to Neri. Call 414-771-4071 or visit MilwaukeeNeri.org.
I want to talk to you about Scott Ferguson at American Medical Plans. If you pay for your own health insurance or you're looking for coverage, do not go online looking for quotes. You'll get endless calls from call centers, and they will not stop. Instead, call Scott, an expert with over 30 years experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Their plans let you pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there'll be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Scott at 833-500-PLAN. That's 833-500-7526. Or go to AmericanMedicalPlans.com. That's AmericanMedicalPlans.com. They'll customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
Hi, I'm Joseph, owner of EWH University. Want to grow your business? Listen every Sunday at 11 a.m. on WISN for fuel, insights, and strategies. Or visit EWHUniversity.com. EWHUniversity.com.
I love it. Join the millions already on the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
It's so easy to use.
The live radio dial, presets, scan, plus lyrics, podcasts, and your favorite artists' radio.
Just type it in, and there it is.
Now it's even easier to discover what you love.
I love my presets. Adding presets is so much fun.
This looks really nice. Just in time for the new year, the new and improved iHeartRadio app. It's everything you love about your car radio in the palm of your hand.
Very cool update. 5 stars, guys.
We are following some breaking news from the Wisconsin Capitol here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. The state assembly has advanced a constitutional amendment that would require voters to show ID for all elections. Now, this comes after the state Senate last week passed the identical amendment, and both chambers passed that amendment in the last session of the state legislature. According to Wisconsin's Constitution, that means the proposed amendment goes before voters during the next statewide election. That happens this coming April 1st, where we will also go to the polls to elect a new state Supreme Court justice, which hopefully will be conservative Brad Schimmel, Waukesha County Circuit Court judge, former attorney general, and far better candidate and human being than liberal Susan Crawford, Madison District or Circuit Court judge. That's pretty much all you need to know. We are also going to hopefully not re-elect State Superintendent Jill Underly. But the big thing on this ballot now, in addition to the state Supreme Court race, is going to be this constitutional amendment. How many Democrats do you think out of the 45 who are currently in the Wisconsin Assembly? There are 99 members of the Assembly. Republicans have 54 seats. Democrats have 45. Guess how many Democrats voted for a constitutional amendment to require voters to show ID? Guess how many? Paul? We also have Eric training to produce this and other fine talk shows. Both say zero. They're holding up their hands in the form of a zero like the guards in Squid Game when you pass one of the games. It is, in fact, zero. There wasn't a single Democrat today who voted for voter ID. Come on, they're high-fiving in there. That was about the easiest question I could possibly ask you. Now, how is it that 0% of Wisconsin Democrats voted for something that, according to a Pew Research poll from earlier this year, actually, it's 2025, almost exactly 1 year ago, in early 2024, 81% of the country supports? When asked about security in elections, 81% of Americans said that this country should, quote, require all voters to show government-issued photo identification to vote. Just 18% opposed. 45 Democrats oppose this. What are the odds that not a single Democrat supports something that 81% of the country supports? Now, this would be the operative question. If we had a media outside of this show and Jay Weber and Vicky and Ben Yount that actually asked such questions of Democrats, we would have Wisconsin's Manu Raju. I don't know, who would that be? Matt Smith? He's pretty connected at the Capitol over at Channel 12 in Milwaukee, sticking a microphone in every single one of these Democrats' faces and asking them this. Will you support abolishing the photo ID requirement for applying for Medicare? Because you do have to show a photo ID to apply for Medicare. Also, Medicaid. Also, Social Security. Also, food stamps. Also, welfare. If you want to open up a bank account, you have to show a photo ID. If you want to buy alcohol or tobacco products or a lottery ticket, you have to show photo ID. You want to buy a house, you have to show a photo ID. You want to rent a house, you have to show a photo ID. You want to buy a car, rent a car, fly on an airplane, get married, purchase a gun, adopt a pet, apply for a hunting license, rent a hotel room, apply for a fishing license, buy a cell phone, pick up prescription medication, you have to show a photo ID. If you want to protest against showing a photo ID, if you want to hold a rally in opposition to the idea that you need to show a photo ID to vote, you have to show a photo ID to apply for the permit. All of these things require photo ID, and Democrats have no problem with any of them. But they never quite explain why exactly they have an issue with requiring a photo ID to vote. Now you might ask, Dan, don't we already have a voter ID law on the books? Yes, we do. But here's why a constitutional amendment is so important. We do, in fact, have yet another election for the state Supreme Court, and yet again, control of the court will be on the line. Liberals have a 4-3 majority, but if Crawford wins and replaces the retiring Ann Walsh Bradley, they'll keep their majority. Conservatives can flip it back with a Schimmel win. If liberals keep control of the court, they will almost certainly overturn voter ID, just as they will almost certainly overturn Act 10, overturn Wisconsin's abortion law, which, remember, to be a member of the lib media in good standing in this state, you need to always refer to the Wisconsin abortion law as Wisconsin's 1849 abortion law, as though the age of a law impacts how valid it is. A constitutional amendment would prevent the activist hack court from overturning this. You can't overturn something on the court that's enshrined in the state constitution. Voters absolutely need to vote yes on the forthcoming photo ID amendment. Even if no Democrats support this, I guarantee if and when this is put to the voters, and it will be on April 1st, it will pass overwhelmingly, because the overwhelming majority of people understand that they need a photo ID to do pretty much everything in their day-to-day lives, and the only people who don't want to have to show photo ID before elections are the people who use a lack of photo ID to cheat in elections. We check in with Dave Spano and name the unhinged liberal of the day next.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
From the place you want to go, Lynch McQuantico Total Traffic Center. Westbound 94 stopping and going from 27th over to Mitchell Boulevard, 4394 southbound, slowing down to the KK River Bridge, and 4145 southbound, tight from Silver Spring to Burleigh. If you see any issues, call the Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111. I'm Kevin Henry.
This report is sponsored by Red Pilled America.
Once upon a time, I was in an exclusive cult run by powerful elites. That cult was Hollywood. I escaped and created Red Pilled America, a storytelling show that tells the stories Tinseltown ignores. Listen to Red Pilled America on the iHeartRadio app.
Next Tuesday, you'll go to your business. You'll stand there in your office and make decisions. I think when you make decisions, it might be well for you to ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for your business to buy things you need to increase profitability than it was 4 years ago? Does your business have more or less unemployment? Is your business as respected as it was? Do you feel your business is on as secure financial grounds as it was 4 years ago? And if you answer all those questions, yes, why then, I think your choice is very obvious as to who handles your brand and marketing. If you don't think the marketing course is what you would like to see your business follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have.
And it is improving the economy, one business at a time. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com. I'mATheSchwab.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you in Waukesha, Milwaukee, Muskego, Brookfield, Heartland, Cedarburg, and their Waukesha Fleet and Specialty location. If you have a business with a multi-vehicle fleet, Mander is the place to go because their team understands you can't have a vehicle out of service for a while, so they work quickly and efficiently to get you back on the road and serving your customers as fast as possible through expedited fleet repairs. Mander has been serving their customers and their community for well over 20 years, and they know that the key is expert workmanship and fast turnaround times combined with the sort of customer service that you'll only find at a family-owned local business like Mander. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com and find out for yourself why Mander truly is your best decision after a collision.
With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
We're the Libby family
at Do-It-Yourself Bathroom Center near State Fair on 62nd and Greenfield.
For over 41 years, we've helped Wisconsin folks create beautiful, affordable, and durable bathrooms.
You'll get our expert guidance and long-lasting quality products.
And nobody beats our prices.
I did it myself at Do-It-Yourself.
As the wildfires continue to impact Los Angeles, families are facing unimaginable loss. And when disaster strikes, we come together. That's why iHeart LA has teamed up to help support the Dream Center, a local LA organization working tirelessly to provide relief, from operating shelters to supplying essentials to those who've lost everything. So please, join us in supporting the Dream Center's efforts to help rebuild the lives of thousands who have been affected by these devastating fires. Visit dreamcenter.org today to donate. That's dreamcenter.org.
If you're a fan of our Wisconsin sports teams, here's the perfect podcast for you. The Larrivee and LePage podcast with two Hall of Fame broadcasters. Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Green Bay Packers, and Matt LePage, the voice of Wisconsin Badgers football and men's basketball. Together, bringing you insights and guests, talking Packers, Badgers, Brewers, Bucks, and more. Listen to the Larrivee and LePage podcast. Available anytime on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to podcasts. Presented by UW Credit Union. Here for every you.
We report, you decide. Factual, fair, and balanced coverage. Your exclusive home of Fox News Radio. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Insight and irreverence, we do both in equal measure here on the Dan O'Donnell Show each and every day. As to the second one, each and every day we name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Your unhinged liberal of the day today is this liberal who we are not identifying. We don't want to dox anyone here. It is a lib on TikTok who admits that she is really, really happy when tornadoes and hurricanes hit right-wingers.
Go ahead, MAGA. Admit it. When you see California burning, you're like, yeah. You know why I know that? Because every time I hear a hurricane's coming or a big-ass tornado, I always say, please, please, let it only hit the white trailer courts. And especially the ones with the Dixie flag. So, yeah, at least I'm not afraid to admit it.
You probably should have been, because I don't even want to laugh at that, even though the woman, I wish you folks could see her. She looks exactly like you think she would. And folks, let me tell you, there is nothing more cringe than a boomer lib. Nothing on this planet more cringe. You could wear socks with sandals. In fact, kids, I don't know what this is. The Zoomers, Generation Zs, and my kids' Generation Alpha, they wear the socks with sandals. It's like come full circle. Like, what are they going to next name their kids? Mildred? and Fred. Actually, Fred and Frank are coming back as names. Well, Margaret runs in my family. We actually named my daughter Grace Margaret after both my aunt and my grandmother. So I've always got a soft spot for Margaret. But what's next? Like Agatha? Agnes? Abner? Are these names coming back? But as cringe as the socks with sandals on your typical dad at the beach, just as cringe as that, and more the cringe than that, is the boomer lib. It's okay to be a boomer. I'll even say it's okay to be a lib. As my dad said to us as we left the house, it's okay. You can be a lib until you're 30. After that, it starts to get a little unseemly. You can be a lib. You can be a boomer. But if you are a boomer lib, just know this. The rest of us think of you as the most cringe thing on planet Earth. That boomer lib, your unhinged liberal of the day. The man with the most unenviable task in radio, following up the unhinged liberal of the day, nonetheless does it with grace, with aplomb, and with all the skill you would expect from Annex Wealth Management. He is the CEO, Dave Spano, for the first time in the afternoon. Dave, it is a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Glad to be on in the afternoon. And I do have the knee-high white socks with the stripes on the top and the flip-flops going on right now.
See,
so
you are neither a boomer nor a lib, so I'll allow it. In fact, you are young. Now, do you have your shorts? Do you have your T-shirt tucked into your shorts? That's another thing. Yep. That is still not as cringe as being a boomer lib. So, Dave, we start a new year. We start a new presidency on Monday. We're starting with confirmation hearings today. It feels like a whole lot of new this week.
Yeah, for sure. It's the third year of a bull market, and data shows, and we went back 75 years, in the third year, it's kind of a heavy lift. That doesn't mean it's not going to be positive. It's just going to be more of a grind than we had those first, really 2 good years. And we went back and we took that, Dan, we looked at 24 Wall Street analysts, and their target on all of these, our survey, is between 6,000 and 7,000 on the S&P 500. So we're under 6,000 today. So it's a positive return. It just might not be another 30%er like we've had the last couple of years. But of course, the market's going to react to all of these things. You talk about the new administration. They're going to have to react to fiscal policy changes, from immigration to tariffs to tax cuts and all of that in between. Obviously, we don't even know about any outliers like perhaps some geopolitical risk, but the market's going to react as it did today to a potential inflation report that shows that interest rates and inflation are not moving as fast as we would like them to go. So folks, make sure that when you look at your portfolio, that you're using a fee-only fiduciary, somebody who does this and brings comprehensive planning, estate planning, tax planning, and investment planning to the table.
And those are the fantastic analysts at Annex Wealth Management. You can get hooked up with them and get a review of your portfolio, help you know what you own and why you own it at annexwealth.com. Dave and I also host a podcast together. It's called The Difference, 15 minutes where we talk about the intersection of politics and economics as we're kind of getting everything all squared away. Dave was out of town for a couple of days. We obviously had a brand new show to start. We have not yet started The Difference for the new year. That will change tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon at probably about 2:15, somewhere in there, we will record the latest episode of The Difference. Coming up next, more from the Pete Hegseth confirmation hearings and what could herald the ultimate death of DEI. Stay tuned. There's more of the Dan O'Donnell Show next.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Earlier this afternoon, Jeffrey Grobb officially became Milwaukee's 12th Archbishop when he was installed at the Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist.
I'm not afraid to stand alongside anyone and roll up my sleeves and work. That's how I was formed.
Grobb, who grew up on a farm in Dane County, takes over the 10-county archdiocese from Jerome Listecki. Today, Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth faced off with senators during his confirmation hearing.
Iowa Republican Senator Joni Ernst asking Pete Hegseth if he'll support women in combat roles as Defense Secretary.
Yes, women will have access to ground combat roles, given the standards remain high, and we'll have a review to ensure the standards have not been eroded.
Some Democrats on the Senate Armed Services Committee, though, brought up past statements made by President-elect Trump's nominee and claim he's changed his views only recently. Hegseth can only afford to lose 3 Republican senators to be confirmed. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
And Milwaukee Public Schools has joined a class action lawsuit against several large tech and social media companies.
Over the weekend, the MPS board voted in favor of joining more than 600 school districts nationwide in the legal action, which includes the platforms Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube as defendants. The suit claims the platforms are addictive and directly harm children's mental health. The district says a share of an anticipated settlement would help MPS expand its mental health services. School districts in Racine and Kenosha have also entered into the legal action. Tad Allen, Wisconsin Radio Network.
The 4 o'clock business report brought to you by the Good Feet store. The Dow was up today, 221 points. The NASDAQ fell 65, while the S&P rose 1. Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, Bucks opened up a 4-game homestand tonight against the Kings at Fiserv. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, WISN News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Another sunny, windy, and cold day ahead with temperatures in the mid-teens and wind chills just above and below zero. We drop into the single digits tonight with wind chills approaching -15. 20s Wednesday afternoon with a chance for light snow at night. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $175 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 2/1. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Real feedback from Brookfield and Mequon's Reset Restore MD patient.
My daughter's intravenous ketamine treatments made a significant difference in just 2 weeks.
R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com.
How long have you been living with that joint pain? You're calling it an old sports injury or just old age, but you just don't have to live with it. Jay Weber here saying it took me too long to figure that out. If you're someone who's experiencing spine or musculoskeletal pain or shoulder, hip, or knee pain, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. They're the doctors and techs that I trust with my shoulder problems. I've had issues for years, and there's not enough damage to warrant surgery, so Ortho Wisconsin helps me manage the pain. Their clinicians, physicians, and surgeons are committed to providing the highest quality joint care and handle handle everything from simple strains and tears to sports injuries to managing degenerative diseases to complex joint replacements. In fact, Orthopedic Associates specializes in same-day total joint replacements at their ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee, and lesser treatments like physical therapy can be done at the Pewaukee, Brookfield, and New Berlin locations. Based on my experiences, you will be impressed with Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin and their staff. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
They used water to restore your wood? No wonder you need us. Well, don't worry. This time we'll do it right. You see, water raises the grain of wood, warps it, and opens splits and glue joints. It's the enemy of finished furniture. And that's why we only remove your finish chemically. It's not the cheap way, but it is the best way. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you have a great piece and want to see if it's worth restoring, of course we can send someone out there. And no, we won't charge for the visit. We've been doing that for almost 50 years, along with pickups and deliveries, to get the beautiful piece that we restore back in your home safe and sound. And we'll guarantee your satisfaction to boot. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
I'm Dave Brownsdorf, president of Flawless Flooring. It's true, there's nothing quite like the scent of freshly steam-cleaned, worn carpet other than a wet dog or cat's litter box. However, Flawless's customer satisfaction-driven, unprecedented growth pinched the Milwaukee metro flooring industry, to the point major carpet companies are no more. We've added quality carpeting lines, becoming your true one-stop flooring shop. Flawless Flooring's New Berlin and Delafield showrooms feature virtually unheard of in the flooring industry upfront accurate pricing, including installation on every display. Know how much carpet, LVP, or modded laminate flooring you need? You can calculate exact pricing as you shop. Want to expand your existing hardwood flooring? Flawless's employee-only craftsmen strip existing flooring, install new hardwood, then finish old and new together for a perfect, looks all original floor. Lock in purchasing power of today's dollars for money you'll earn up to 21 months from now with Flawless's no money down, zero interest financing. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring. FlawlessFlooringLLC.com. That's FlawlessFlooringLLC.com.
Are you tired of being tired? Go to AdventKnows.com.
As promised, I have in the studio here with me Program Director Jerry Bott. We've got Dan O'Donnell in the studio, Ben Yount in the studio, and Vicki McKenna, because there's a major announcement we've been teasing for 2 days.
When Mr. Belling decided to take his program and make it podcast only, obviously that means that we're going to have to make some adjustments.
The next generation is here.
In Afternoon Drive, it will be the Dan O'Donnell Show from 3 to 6.
Welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
We are seeing the death of DEI right before our eyes. From Harley Davidson to Facebook to the Pete Hegseth confirmation hearing to the liberalism that is quite literally burning Los Angeles to the ground. Americans are finally waking up. Before we get to that, we get you another chance to win $1,000 in our cold hard cash contest. The nationwide keyword this hour is cash. C-A-S-H, cash. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword cash. If your entry is picked at random, you, fine sir or madam, have just won yourself $1,000 instantly. All week long on this, the final week of Joe Biden's presidency, we are looking back and presenting to you, our faithful listeners, Joe Biden's greatest hits.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
I know what you want.
We choose truth over facts.
And I know what you need.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
But I'm all screwing up, yeah, 'cause I'm an idiot.
And he is the 46th president of these United States. And let me tell you, friend, Monday cannot come quickly enough, although I am getting a little wistful as I look back at some of the greatest things our faithful president has said, including this one, which to this day I think has never quite been explained. President Biden was speaking in Pennsylvania on June 16th, 2023, when he ended his speech with this.
All right. God save the Queen, man.
Wait. What? He was in America. The Queen at that point had been dead for nearly a year. And he said, what?
All right. God save the Queen, man.
This is why it's one of Joe Biden's greatest hits, because nobody can quite explain why he said it or what was going on in his head at the time. All week long, we are playing some of our favorite sound bites just like those, but we need your help. If you have one that stands out to you that needs to be a part of the Joe Biden's greatest hits compendium, shoot me a text at 414-799-1130. That is the AdventKnows.com talk and text line. You can also reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, DOD@iHeartMedia.com. At Dan O'Donnell Show is where you can find me on X. We are streaming live on X, also on Facebook at Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, or on our YouTube channel. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. As the kids say, like and subscribe. Smash that like button and sign up for notifications whenever we go live at 3:06 each and every weekday afternoon. We also do humbly ask that when you're signing up for an iHeartRadio account to win $1,000 in our hourly contest, you also subscribe to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast on iHeartRadio. And if it's not too much trouble, wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, all those other sites that aren't quite good enough for as iHeartRadio. And I'm not just saying that because I am, in fact, a company man. iHeartRadio is by far the best place to listen to podcasts. We've got the most, and our interface is just, frankly, better. Pete Hegseth, I think, didn't just knock it out of the park with his confirmation hearing today. He knocked it out of the zip code. That's how well he performed today. His opening statement was spectacular. And I'm not saying that, to continue the baseball metaphor, libs are losing their fastball. But I'm old enough to remember the Kavanaugh confirmation hearings when they were pawing at the locked doors like a group of zombies. It was sort of like The Walking Dead. I guess that was after the confirmation hearing. That was when Kavanaugh, this is as recently as 2018, when he was being sworn in as a Supreme Court justice, they locked the doors of the Supreme Court, and you could hear outside, as Kavanaugh was taking the oath of office, the banging on the doors. It was honestly like Rick Grimes and the lady with the katana blade and the biker dude, what was his name, Daryl, were going to have to fight off zombies banging at the door of the old guy's barn. I haven't watched like the last 6 seasons of Walking Dead. So the last time I think I watched, they were either in a barn or maybe a prison. I don't remember. But there were a ton of protesters. Today, there was one. And remember what I said just a couple of minutes ago as we named the unhinged liberal of the day. There is nothing cringier than a boomer lib. Well, a boomer lib got into the hearing room today and, well, acted like a boomer lib.
Thank you for figuratively and literally having my back.
You are a misogynist. Not only that, you are a Christian Zionist. And you support the war against Gaza by the Zionists.
I want to thank the authorities for their swift reaction to that outburst.
And this old guy being carted away by security. You are a misogynist. You're also a Christian Zionist. I thought I watched that clip a ton this afternoon, and I thought he was saying a Christian Scientist. I said, that's kind of mean. It's a legitimate relation. Oh, Christian Zionist is. So this is why I'm telling you, there is nothing cringier than a boomer lib. You can be a boomer, you can be a lib. But when you're a boomer lib, you sound like that while getting dragged out of a hearing room by Capitol Police. Hegseth deftly deflected other boomer libs as they tried to trip him up over all manner of things. And the Democrats just couldn't really lay a glove on him, even though Hegseth's nomination was seen as, outside of maybe Tulsi Gabbard, maybe Bobby Kennedy Jr., the most difficult to get across the finish line. Hegseth, though, is a born communicator. He understands not only what to say, but also how to say it. One of the best moments, however, today did not belong to him, but rather brand new Senator Tim Sheehy of Montana when he asked about how many genders there are. Wait, what? Trust me. It was a great setup.
Pete, I'm actually going to ask you questions because I want to hear your answer. How many genders are there? Tough one.
Senator, there are 2 genders.
I know that well. I'm a she-he, so I'm on board.
I love how it took everybody in the room just that split second. I'm a she-he. No, Senator, it's he-she. It's the derogatory term is he-she. Oh, your name. Well played, Senator Trans. Hegseth, by the way, like Facebook did last week, like Harley Davidson, like a whole ton of other companies in the wake of Trump's win, promised to end DEI programs in the military, and the way he said it was mwah. Chef's kiss.
Our standards will be high and they will be equal, not equitable. That's a very different word. We need to make sure every warrior is fully qualified on their assigned weapon system, every pilot's fully qualified and current on the aircraft they are flying, and every general or flag officer is selected for leadership or promotion purely based on performance, readiness, and merit. Leaders at all levels will be held accountable, and warfighting and lethality and the readiness of the troops and their families will be our only focus.
Wow. Does anyone actually disagree with that? Let me rephrase that, because I know an awful lot of people, a terrifying number, in fact, do. Does anyone with a fully functioning cerebral cortex find any disagreement in that? There is a basic standard that you have to be able to meet in order to do certain jobs. If you want to be a member of the military, you have to have a baseline level of physical fitness. It's not just the mission, it's not just your life, it's the lives of everybody else you serve with that depends on your ability to fulfill your basic task. We might feel good if we allow you in because you happen to be a skin color that we decide we like at the moment. But if you aren't up to the task, you're putting everybody else at risk, including yourself. We are not served by that. This country is not served by that. Do you know who is learning that in real time? The people of Los Angeles. Today, embattled Mayor Karen Bass, who is the most DEI of any DEI hire mayor, perhaps in the entire country, and has been proving it since these fires started, was asked about whether, given the benefit of hindsight, she regrets taking that trip to Ghana for the swearing in of that country's new president. Now, under no circumstances was Karen Bass going to attend the inauguration of of this country's President Donald Trump on Monday, but she thought she could fit it into her otherwise, I'm sure, totally packed schedule to go to Ghana. This, by the way, raises another question a little bit closer to home. David Crowley, the Milwaukee County executive, recently finished up coursework for his college degree. I won't begrudge him that. I think it's great going back to school. Crowley's probably 38, 39 years old. So a couple of years later, going back and we just did our unsung hero of the day yesterday, guy who got his Eagle Scout designation 60 years later. When did Crowley have time to be essentially a full-time college student while he was also county executive? Does this not prove that either he's not working all that hard or the job isn't particularly taxing? Karen Bass thinks she can just gallivant off to Ghana on the taxpayer's dime, I'm sure. But she was asked today whether she regrets that. Her answer is almost mind-boggling.
Looking back, would you have taken that trip overseas?
You know, I am going to focus today on what we know.
Can I
ask you one question about
Now, I think she was saying no, she doesn't regret taking that trip. She might have been saying, no, I'm not going to get into this. It sure as heck sounded like, though, she doesn't regret taking that trip. You know who does have regrets? The new owner of the Los Angeles Times, who made a whole lot of headlines for refusing to endorse Kamala Harris for president, Dr. Patrick Soon-Shiong, who says he deeply regrets the fact that his newspaper did endorse Karen Bass.
We'll accept some blame, right? So at the LA Times, we endorsed Karen Bass. I think right now in front, that's a mistake, and we admit that. So I thought it was very important early on for me to come out. And I think we were one of the few to say competence matters. Got like maybe 20, 23 million views to show how that was really dear to the heart of most people, whether you're right or left. And it's an interesting thing is that maybe we should think about how we elect people on the basis of, did they actually run a job? Did they actually make a payroll? Do they understand what it is? And rather than having professional politicians whose only job is really to run for office.
Competence matters. The baseline question you need to ask before you fill in that little bubble at the ballot box is, can this person actually do the job? We've learned from the last 4 years of the Biden administration, when we didn't have a real president, but were rather governed by a nameless, faceless cabal of 30 and 40-something they-thems who secretly ran the office of the president while Biden was napping, that Democrats don't care about that. They don't care about competence. If they did, they would stop electing incompetent people. We will continue on this theme when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns. It's conservative thought, not just talk.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
A little slow southbound on 894 past Beloit because of a crash blocking the right shoulder. 894 westbound slows from 27th over to 60th. If you see any issues, call the Tri-City National Bank or Hometown Bank Total Traffic Tip line at 414-944-5111. I'm Kevin Henry.
This report is sponsored by PureTalk.com. It's time to ditch big wireless. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on America's most dependable 5G network. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month with Pure Talk.
Hi, I'm Willa Voss. I'm 8 years old. Mom and Dad own Cut and Go Tree Service. Yes, they did name me after a tree. Our family loves this country and the freedom it provides. Every morning I look forward to starting the school day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please say it along with me, even if you just say it in your mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. American patriots will enjoy a 5% discount for flying the American flag and mentioning this commercial when the cut-and-go remote control, automobile-mounted, articulated crane, grapple saw operators are putting your dead trees on the ground or removing large branches that grew over something important. An all-American, tons of trees movement, cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGOTREES.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979 or biglou.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Best wishes for a happy and prosperous new year from George and Holly Boggs at the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield, serving delicious home-style meals for generations. Just take the Holy Hill exit from Highway 41, turn west, and then right on Wolf Road. The Sawmill is just around the bend on your left.
Now it's getting good. Playoffs are here. Hi, it's Gregory John. Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings yet? What are you waiting for? Time is running out. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Select 2 or more players. Choose if they have more or less of a stat, like touchdowns, yardage, sacks, and more. And DraftKings makes it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers pay $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use the code WISN. That's code WISN for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18, plus age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in Wisconsin.
This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Of the celebrities who have lost their homes. It is stunning how many very famous people have lost everything in the Los Angeles wildfires. And the one that I am most sad about, Patrisse Cullors. She is the founder of Black Lives Matter. She described herself as a trained socialist, and she used her donations to BLM to buy 3 houses in the Los Angeles area. BLM apparently standing for Buy Larger Mansions. 2 of those houses burned to the ground. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you might have criticized Ms. Cullors, a trained socialist, for being so greedy as to need 3 houses. And you may have said, hey, it seems a little criminal to buy 3 mansions with money that's donated to help Black lives. She actually did respond to that, saying, well, I'm helping my family and we are Black lives. I wish I was making that up. Now, you may have made fun of her and said, why would you need 3 houses? Well, who's got the last laugh now? 2 of those houses burned to the ground. One of them is still standing. Unfortunately for Patrice and everyone else who fostered in the crazy era of BLM and DEI and every other 3-letter acronym that is currently destroying this country, that's all coming to an end. And when I talk about the vibe shift that this country has undergone since Election Day, and I think in reality it underwent it, I think you can actually pinpoint the moment that the vibe shifted in this country. Do you know what moment it was? I'll give you a hint. Midway through this summer. Very good, Paul. July 13th, 2024, Donald Trump shot in the ear in Butler, Pennsylvania. Everything changed. I am telling you, everything changed. Instantly, people in this country didn't see Trump as the Hitler-esque Lord of Darkness that the left pretended he was, but a vulnerable human being. They cared about him. They realized how much, dare I say, they loved him. And given that Trump was a vulnerable mortal, that they could care about Trump, that Trump was just a regular dude, not some Mussolini-like fascist in waiting, they started to question, well, what else have we been lied about? That momentum, I think, that groundswell clamoring for change, people waking up to the fact that Democrats had failed them. Democrats have been failing at the basic functions of government since I've been alive and well before. Democrats have been failing at government since Democrats were an organized political party. But people started waking up to the fact that over the past 4 years, hey, wait a second, we had a pretty darn good economy. We were in a period of relative peace and total stability in this country. And we elected Democrats, and they bleeped it all up in less than 4 years. But the vibe really shifted, and Democrats, I think, internalized this and have been totally dejected and defeated by it after the election. When Trump won the popular vote, Democrats could no longer pretend that more people agree with them. They had no excuse for their failures. And I believe they're still dealing with that dejection, with that rejection, with that failure with the American people. And as a result, when the American people realize, hey, wait a second, we're not outnumbered by these crazies. Yeah, it's okay to say there are only 2 genders. It's okay to say boys belong in boys' locker rooms. It's okay to say we believe in meritocracy and not advancing people by virtue of how good their advancement makes us feel. America has always been a meritocracy. It hasn't been a kill or be killed, survival of the fittest type thing, because frankly, we are the most compassionate nation on earth, and no other nation even comes close. I dare you to try to fact check me on that. We care about the people who need a hand up. We don't give handouts, though. We have a basic understanding that people need to work. It's not 2 each according to his need. It's 2 each according to his ability, and 2 each according to how hard he's willing to work. Advancement comes if you're willing to work hard enough, and yes, if you have certain innate intelligence or talent. No matter how good I get at basketball, I'm 5'10", okay? No matter how good I get at Soccer. I am 43 years old. All right? There's just no Met. Lost a step or two. I've lost half a mile. Okay. You know how I can tell it's getting bad? I was coaching basketball last night, and I shot a jump shot, and I airballed it because my leg hurt so badly on the way up. And then when I landed from shooting a jump shot, my leg hurt even worse. I had to walk it off because I shot a jump shot. And suddenly I felt 800 years old. There is such a thing as natural talent. There isn't in the American tradition advancement or acceptance of some honor based on demographic characteristics. We reject that explicitly. Although what's sort of ironic is that the Democrats who claim to be the most progressive and forward-thinking are the same Democrats who judged people by the color of their skin during the days of slavery, during the days of Reconstruction, during the days of segregation, and straight through to today. They just put a little different spin on it. The concept that we should be judged by the color of our skin and not the content of our character, not our abilities, our willingness to work hard, is something that was just recently thrust upon this country. And it's been great that over the past 4 years, and you can pinpoint the start of that to the death of St. George the Pious, the patron saint of fentanyl use, George Floyd, when we had to rethink everything in America, including our basic founding principle of hard work and self-determination. Now, there are still some that consider it racist to even criticize someone of a particular race for failing. TMZ.com caught up with a couple of actresses, Yvette Nicole Brown and Kim Whitley, who told the cameras, unashamedly, that any criticism of Karen Bass, who, remember, was not even on this continent when the wildfires destroyed Los Angeles, anyone who dares criticize her is racist.
This is not the time to blame. It's time to get some resources. She has reached out far. We have planes coming in from other countries to help us. This is not the time.
Yeah, and one of those planes was actually carrying the mayor back from Ghana.
I need everybody to remain calm,
need to leave her alone and let her do her work.
vigilant,
Just let her do
support
her work.
the leadership, support Karen Bass. That's all I can say. You cannot, this is not the time. Oh, y'all done got me upset.
She's had a great response so far to the fires.
Absolutely a great. She has done what she's had to do. She's jumped in there, and she's got.
We have fires every year, and I don't remember in the 30 years almost that I've lived in LA, I've never seen everybody react like this to the mayor and blame one person for a natural disaster.
Yes,
I've never seen it. Now, what's different this time? Interesting, isn't it?
You said that, amen, sister.
I mean, what was different was the mayor was not on this continent when the fires started. I mean, had they forgotten that their governor is like the whitest white man in existence? Gavin Newsom is like every villain from every 80s movie I have ever seen. Every dude who was trying to shut down the poor kids' camp looked just like Gavin Newsom. All right? The kids would have to band together and win the dodgeball tournament to save their summer camp from Gavin Newsom. And now the people of Los Angeles are banding together to save their city from liberal mismanagement. And when even people in Los Angeles are so critical of Karen Bass and are openly saying, hey, wait a minute, maybe we should have put ideology and maybe we should have put skin color aside and voted for Rick Caruso, the developer, the Republican, who at least is fundamentally competent. Karen Bass might be the least competent human being in that entire city. I would take the cast of, I can't even think of, what's the dopiest show? I would take the cast of Jackass. Steve-O got himself sober. I would take him and Johnny Knoxville running the fire response over Karen Bass right now. But it's not just her. It's also Gavin Newsom. It's also the very white, very LGBTQ plus minus $ question mark fire chief who's more concerned with promoting diversity and promoting the idea that firefighters should look like her, and her assistant chief who says, well, if your husband is stuck in a fire, that's probably his fault, and I don't need to pull him out. When you have this mentality, people die. Cities really do burn because it's about competence. When you don't hire the best, when you don't hire people who even have the basic skills necessary, when they're discovered, the Peter Principle kicks in. Peter Principle is that when you're promoted exactly one level beyond your own competence, you will fail. Karen Bass was perfectly fine because you don't really apparently need to do too much leading as a member of the House of Representatives. She was promoted to mayor. She had to run an entire city. She proved she couldn't do it. We're running way late for a break. Dan O'Donnell's show will be back right after this.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
From the place you want to go, Lynch McQuantico Total Traffic Center. Southbound on 43, slow center down to the Marquette and on to 4394 to the KK River Bridge. Northbound on 43, going to be slow from Highland up to center. If you see any issues, call the Total Traffic Tip line at 414-944-5111. I'm Kevin Henry.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $175 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 2/1. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
If you already know football or you want to learn more, listen to the Mark Belling Football Preview and Picking Contest every week on News Talk 1130 WISN. Mark, along with football handicapping expert Mike Merlette, dissect the most interesting games. Plus, a listener can pick a game for a chance to win a $100 gift card.
The Mark Belling Football Preview and Picking Contest is presented by Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac, featuring hundreds of new and pre-owned vehicles, plus impeccable customer service. It's worth the trip. HolidayAutomotive.com.
I'm Kelly Lammert with Clean Living Environments. Clean Living Environments' superior agitation, high-powered suction gets more filth out of your furnace ducts. Crud doesn't unstick from surfaces. It became glued in place over years of humid, then dry, then humid airflow. Vacuum cleaners agitate. Suction alone doesn't get carpet clean. Next, Clean Living Environments gets more wasted air out of ducts with AeroSeal duct sealing. Loosely fit together tin pipes snakes from the furnace through walls to vents. Loosely boxed off stud spaces and right-angle turns return unheated or cooled air to furnaces. Dank basement air is sucked into gaps and distributed throughout the house, while tonnage of heated or cooled air escapes before being distributed throughout the home, resulting in more dust, musty smells, not enough heated or cooled air to parts of the house, and larger energy bills. Clean Living Environments duct sealing reduces air duct leakage 70 to 99%, reducing gas consumption while increasing whole home comfort and cleanliness. Get more out of your ducts. CleanLivingEnvironments.com. That's CleanLivingEnvironments.com.
I'm Dr. Dan Ross of Ross Dental New Berlin and our second Ross Dental Waukesha location. In dentistry, technology improves your experience ongoing if your dentist keeps up. We do. Most dentists finish same-day dental restorations the next visit, or the visit after that, after you're fitted with a temporary restoration. At Ross Dental, you come in with one tooth or teeth in need of substantial restoration and leave the same day with a fully restored, beautiful smile. With Ross's sedation dentistry, we can even replace a whole upper or lower arch of severely damaged or decayed teeth painlessly and quickly. Using Ross Dental's cutting-edge CEREC, I scan your prep tooth and send the precise AutoCAD-generated dimensions to our in-house mill. You relax. A filling or crown matching your natural tooth enamel is fabricated in minutes for perfect same-day, healthful, permanent restoration. With Ross Dental's affordable financing and convenient New Berlin and Waukesha locations, you can schedule same-day restorations, and very soon you'll smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com. That's RossDentalWI.com.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson, the Falls and New Berlin. Remember looking forward to playing with your kids or grandkids and having the energy to? At Total Health, we hear it all the time. People say I'm too tired and worn out to be the person my spouse married or parent or grandparent my family deserves. Sound familiar? Total Health naturopaths find root causes of fatigue and lethargy, then treat you, the whole person, restoring energy and overall wellness. It could be dietary or thyroid function, or maybe you just need to drop some weight. Big Medicine's weight loss injection causing stomach, gallbladder, intestinal, and vascular problems works for them. Sick people are profitable. If excess weight is a contributing factor to you not feeling your best, Total Health naturopaths will never judge you. We'll be honest, providing the tools and motivation to lose weight. Then we'll be with you throughout your journey to feeling happy, healthier, energetic, and well. Be that person your family deserves. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com. That's TotalHealthInc.com.
Hi, it's Jason from Capital Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and I've never told you why Capital does same-day repair 7 days a week. Years ago, in the dead of winter, the heat failed in an apartment building I was responsible for, so I called a big local heating company who promised to help, but never showed up. After a million calls, I mustered the know-how and fixed it myself. That's when I decided Milwaukee deserves a company that cares, and that's why we offer same-day repair 7 days a week. Visit callcapitalcares.com. Because Capital cares.
If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center. See orthowisconsin.com.
The new year means new health goals, not just for your body, but your finances too. Your personal info is in so many places that are outside of your control. It only takes one mistake, and not even your mistake, to expose you to identity theft and lost funds. If your identity's stolen, LifeLock's restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your subscription money back, and resolve to make identity, health, and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Visit LifeLock.com and save up to 40% off your first year with promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
Hey, it's Bobby Bones. Join me and former NFL quarterback Matt Castle for our new podcast, Lots to Say with Bobby Bones and Matt Castle. Between us, we have over 17,500 passing yards, multiple New York Times bestsellers, and one Mirrorball trophy from Dancing with the Stars. So where else are you going to find a show with that much athleticism and football insight? Listen to Lots to Say with Bobby Bones and Matt Castle on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart.
Open your free iHeart app and search Lots to Say with Bobby Bones and Matt Castle and start listening.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
We are seeing the death of DEI. It is burning along with much of the rest of the Pacific Palisades, as people understand that you need to vote for people. It doesn't matter if someone looks like you. It matters if they're able to do the job, especially when one of the core functions of that job is protecting you. One of the biggest things that people are, I think, understanding is that the Democratic Party has not for a long time promoted the best, the brightest, the most competent. Look no further than Joe Biden. We will, by the way, have yet another one of Joe Biden's greatest hits coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Coming up in about 7-8 minutes, we name the hero of the day, the unsung hero of the day. Trust me, you're going to want to listen to this one. It is spectacular. Look no further than Joe Biden, though. What did he say he was going to do with respect to his vice presidential running mate? He was going to pick a black woman. Not the most qualified, not the best fit, a black woman. Didn't matter who. Karen Bass, believe it or not, was on his short list. What a terrifying prospect that was. How about the Supreme Court justice that he got to name? He pledged not the smartest, not the most experienced, not the most innovative jurist in the United States, a black woman. Why? This to me is a form of racism in that it automatically precludes the possibility that a black woman would be the best or brightest. If you have to say, well, I'm going to name a black woman, instead of saying, I'm going to pick the very best, and the very best happens to be a black woman, is that not you implicitly admitting that you don't believe that a black woman could possibly be the best or most qualified? Going back to Pete Hegseth's confirmation hearing today, I'm telling you, Democrats not only are losing the DEI battle, they're losing their fastball. They used to shine in these sorts of hearings, embarrassing Republican nominees with personal assaults, personal questions. For example, Tim Kaine, little known fact, he was actually Hillary Clinton's running mate in 2016. Most people have actually forgotten that. He's a senator for Virginia. And today he was all over Hegseth, over Hegseth's marital infidelity.
You had just fathered a child 2 months before by a woman that was not your wife. I am shocked that you would stand here and say you're completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared? How is that a complete clear?
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth, and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
And she was, and you cheated on the mother of that child less than 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
Kaine thinks it's unacceptable that someone in Hegseth's position would cheat on his wife. Here's Tim Kaine appearing in a campaign video with Doug Emhoff, the second gentleman who is going to be the first gentleman of the United States, who cheated on his first wife with the nanny and impregnated her.
Hey, folks. Tim Kaine here.
Second gentleman, Doug Emhoff here.
We are in Annandale, Virginia, where the Biden-Harris campaign just opened the first coordinated campaign office in Virginia.
And we are going to, win this election. Senator Kaine is going to go back to the Senate, and we're all going to do this thing together.
They're going to do it together with the adulterer who cheated on his wife and impregnated another woman. It took a grand total of 4 months for Senator Tim Kaine to be exposed as the hypocrite he always has been. And that brings us, ladies and gentlemen, to today's hero of the day. Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin, who during today's Senate hearing for Hegseth took a blowtorch to the entire Democrat establishment, torching every one of them for their incredible hypocrisy. You simply must hear this.
I'm just making a point because there's a lot about qualifications. And I think it's so hypocritical of senators, especially on the other side of the aisle, be talking about his qualifications, not being able to lead the secretary or be the Secretary of Defense, and yet your qualifications aren't any better. You guys aren't any more qualified to be the senator than I'm qualified to be the senator, except we're lucky enough to be here. But let me read you what the qualifications of the Secretary of Defense is, because I Googled it, and went through a lot of different sites, and really it's hard to see. But in general, the U.S. Secretary of Defense position is filled by a civilian. That's it. If you have served in the U.S. Army Forces and have been in the service for, you have to be retired for at least 7 years, and Congress can weigh that. And then there's questions that the senator from Massachusetts brought up about serving on a board inside the military industry, and yet your own secretary that you all voted for, Secretary Austin, we had to vote on a waiver because he stepped off the board of Raytheon. But I guess that's okay because that's a Democrat Secretary of Defense. But we so quickly forget about that. And then Senator Kaine, or I guess I better use the senator from Virginia, starts bringing up the fact that what if you showed up drunk to your job? How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have. And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down? No. But it's for show. You guys make sure you make a big show and point out the hypocrisy because the man's made a mistake. And you want to sit there and say that he's not qualified? Give me a joke. I mean, it is so ridiculous that you guys hold yourself as this higher standard and you forget you got a big plank in your eye. We've all made mistakes. I've made mistakes. And Jennifer, thank you for loving him through that mistake. Because the only reason why I'm here and not in prison is because my wife loved me too. I have changed, but I'm not perfect. But I found somebody that thought I was perfect. And for whatever reason, you love Pete, and I don't know why. But just like our Lord and Savior forgave me, my wife's had to forgive me more than once too, and I'm sure you've had to forgive him too. And so thank you.
That is incredible. It needed to be said. And the fact that Democrats just kind of sat there and took it shows how, frankly, impotent they have become. He is Senator Marquayne Mullen. And ladies and gentlemen, he is your unsung hero of the day. We will expound on his point when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
Southbound on 894 at Beloit, still got a crash off to the right shoulder, stall off to the right 43 southbound at Good Hope, and a crash on the right shoulder 4145 northbound up at Appleton. If you see any issues, call the Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank total traffic tip line at 414-944-5111. I'm Kevin Henry.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $175 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 2/1. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
If you're a woman looking to take control of your financial future, you are not alone. Women are leading the way in business and managing household finances, but challenges still exist. That's why Annex Wealth Management presents the Women in Wealth series every third Thursday. It'll empower you with knowledge and resources to succeed. Join us for collaborative discussions, community building, and learn about key areas of financial planning. Women in Wealth events are free every third Thursday. Sign up at annexwealth.com/events and bring a friend.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus.
I love you.
Really?
Will you be my Valentine?
Wow.
I'm smitten with employee-free showrooms.
Oh, you're professing your affection for Hasselus Mattress.
I'm head over heels.
Our employee-free showrooms save you so much money.
My heart's all aflutter.
Through Monday, Hasselus Mattress will give you an additional $248 in instant savings on any Beautyrest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper.
You complete me.
Find an employee-free showroom near you or shop online at Hasselus.com.
Next Tuesday, you'll go to your business. You'll stand there in your office and make decisions. I think when you make decisions, it might be well for you to ask yourself, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Is it easier for your business to buy things you need to increase profitability than it was 4 years ago? Does your business have more or less unemployment? Is your business as respected as it was? Do you feel your business is on as secure financial grounds as it was 4 years ago? And if you answer all those questions, yes, why then, I think your choice is very obvious as to who handles your brand and marketing. If you don't think the marketing course is what you would like to see your business follow for the next 4, then I could suggest another choice that you have.
And it is improving the economy one business at a time. CreativeGeniusMarketing.com, INetDishWeb.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for my longtime friends at Built Right Furniture. Built Right's New Year's mattress sale is extended. Shop the most unique selection of mattresses with over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the best brands made in the USA, including Heirloom, Restonic, Therapeutic, Shiftman, and more. Built Right always saves you money. Don't make a mistake by ordering online or from an employee-free store. Built Right makes it easy, and with their legitimate sale prices, you'll get exceptional value and a great night's sleep, as I do on my Built Right Heirloom mattress. They do the research for you, and their team will take the time to help properly fit you. Built Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, two-sided, and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, Built Right offers free delivery and removal on mattress-only purchases of $799 or more. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, they're closed to be with family. Tell them Dan sent you to Built Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
failed. Need a tree on the ground now? Cut and Go offers same-day or next-day half-service tree removal. We do the dangerous part, putting the trees on the ground in orderly fashion. You do the cleanup. A Trees and Tons movement. cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com.
This is House Call for Health. Virtual meetings might be doing more than facilitating workplace collaboration. Recent studies show it could be fueling a desire for cosmetic procedures. It's part of a phenomenon nicknamed video conferencing dysmorphia. Researchers from Harvard Medical School and Boston University, among others, say the COVID-19 pandemic triggered a rise in consideration for cosmetic procedures. Researchers looked at more than 500 participants and found the more time people spent looking at themselves during a video call, the more likely they were to think about getting cosmetic surgery. Features like Touch Up My Appearance on online meeting platforms also influencing individuals' perception of themselves. Nearly 90% of people surveyed say they used video conferencing apps more than 3 days a week. The data is published in the Journal of Clinical and Aesthetic Dermatology. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
This is where sycophants and shills are shunned, and commitment to the unvarnished truth is sustained. Just one reason that this is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WISN. News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Milwaukee police are looking for a suspect they say purposefully hit and killed a 41-year-old man on the city's north side this morning. Fox 6's Carl Deffenbaugh.
It happened just before 7 this morning in an alley near 14th and North. Police say this started as an argument, and then that person intentionally hit that 41-year-old. The driver, though, took off before police could get to the scene.
Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers is pushing for gun control following the deadly school shooting in Madison last month. Fox's Jeff Manasso.
Governor Tony Evers is proposing what he calls sweeping gun reforms as part of his upcoming state budget plan while signing an executive order creating an Office of Violence Prevention that he says will give millions of dollars in federal pandemic money to launch programs statewide in an attempt to prevent violence, like the school shooting in Madison in December that left a teacher and a student dead.
And the death toll from the wildfires in California is at least 24, with dozens still missing. Fox's Madison Allworth.
We're currently at a completely volunteer-run donation and distribution center. People are starting to pick up their lives, but the reality is we are not out of the woods yet. So when it comes to the Palisades fire, at this point, it's 17% contained. The Eaton fire, which is the one that is closer to this location, that's 35% contained. And we are still in a very dangerous, high-risk situation.
Checking the holiday automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, Packers quarterback coach Tom Clements announced his retirement today. Clements will go down as the only person to coach Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Jordan Love. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, WISN News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Another sunny, windy, and cold day ahead with temperatures in the mid-teens and wind chills just above and below zero. We drop into the single digits tonight with wind chills approaching minus 15. 20s Wednesday afternoon with a chance for light snow at night. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Now it's getting good. Playoffs are here. Hi, it's Gregory John. Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings yet? What are you waiting for? Time is running out. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Select 2 or more players. Choose if they have more or less of a stat, like touchdowns, yardage, sacks, and more. And DraftKings makes it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers pay $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use the code WISN. That's code WISN for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 30 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Grieve at Reset Restore MD IV Ketamine Therapy Centers. IV ketamine is superior to ketamine lozenges. If you suffer with depression, anxiety, or PTSD, listen to real R&R MD patient feedback.
My treatments helped greatly reduce and eliminate my chronic back pain.
I've tried many therapies for depression, and this has been the most impactful. The environment is relaxing, and the staff are incredibly kind.
Amazing, life-changing, wonderful. Dr. Jennifer changed my life for the better with ketamine infusions.
R&R MD helped me deal with anxiety and be more calm with hectic things going on. Years of talk therapy can't do what this did in a few sessions.
Intravenous ketamine infusions take about an hour at our Brookfield or Mequon R&R MD locations. Relief can continue for weeks, months, even a lifetime. R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com. That's rnrmd.com.
Best wishes for a happy and prosperous new year from George and Holly Boggs at the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield, serving delicious home-style meals for generations. Just take the Holy Hill exit from Highway 41, turn west, and then right on Wolf Road. The Sawmill is just around the bend on your left.
Just because your fantasy football league is over, that doesn't mean you have to stop playing. Hey, I'm Benjamin Yant, and I want to talk about daily fantasy sports over at Prize Picks. Prize Picks brings all of the excitement of fantasy, but without having to wait for next season. It is playoff time, which is the best time to start playing daily fantasy sports over at Prize Picks. All you're doing is you pick between 2 and 6 players, then pick the stats where you think they're going to hit, and boom, you're playing. Over 10 million people are playing daily fantasy over at Prize Picks. Are you? Just download the app, enter my code Radio11, and turn your fantasy football knowledge into a real payday. You can win 100 times your money, and Prize Picks offers fast payouts so you can make the most of that payday. Now, you got to be present in certain states, and you visit prizepicks.com for the restrictions and details. My code Radio11. Prize Picks. Run your game.
From the road to the roof, S&K will fix your plumbing problems 24/7. Coal Investment Group is a registered investment advisor. Call 262-522-4040.
News about you and your money. The Business Report from the Coal Investment Group.
Good afternoon. I'm Chartered Financial Consultant Jeff Kowal with the Closing Business Report. Stocks ended mixed today as traders are now looking to Wednesday's Consumer Price Index report for insights on inflation. The Producer Price Index today showed that prices rose less than expected in December. Meanwhile, shares of Eli Lilly fell over 6.5% after the drug maker said its demand for its weight loss and diabetes drugs would not meet its expectations. Gainers paid losers by 3-1 on New York Stock Exchange and by 3-2 on NASDAQ. At the close, the Dow was up 221 to 42,518. S&P 500 added 6. NASDAQ down 43. For your portfolio and retirement review, schedule an appointment with us at 262-522-4040.
As promised, I have in the studio here with me Program Director Jerry Bott. We've got Dan O'Donnell in the studio, Ben Yount in the studio, and Vicki McKenna, because there's a major announcement we've been teasing for 2 days.
When Mr. Belling decided to take his program and make it podcast only, obviously that means that we're going to have to make some adjustments.
The next generation is here.
In Afternoon Drive, it will be the Dan O'Donnell Show from 3 to 6.
Welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
If there's a theme of today's show, it would be this. Democrats seem to be losing their fastball. The media, it seems, doesn't have the same influence that it did even before the election. If you remember, right after Trump won, CNN, MSNBC, their audiences crashed. In fact, Rachel Maddow is being begged right now to come out of her semi-retirement and to start doing a daily show once again, because she was the only thing that ever drew ratings for that struggling network. And now the network's president is out. Apparently, Comcast is very serious about spinning off MSNBC, and in advance of that, Rashida Jones, the president of the network, is stepping down. She is out. She's been in for 4 years, and the interim president is Rebecca Cutler, the network's senior vice president of content strategy. The strategy of MSNBC providing content is, I guess, be less crazy, provide less insane left-wing content. Comcast, though, the parent company, clearly sees MSNBC as a property that's never going to regain its value. And one would think, when would a property like MSNBC ever be more valuable? At the beginning of the first Trump term, they were the resistance, right? I'll never forget, on the day Trump was inaugurated in 2017, January 20th, I think they timed it. There was an article that appeared, I want to say on Politico, but now I'm second-guessing myself. It might be time. I think they timed it for 12:01 p.m. on January 20th, 2017. Now the effort to impeach Trump begins. They all saw themselves as having this higher, almost divine purpose to oppose the new dark age of Trump's rule. Do you get that sense that they have that same purpose now? No. When you got Morning Joe and his bride Mika going down to Mar-a-Lago to grovel at the feet of Trump, when you've got Mark Zuckerberg, who paid to take over elections in Wisconsin to ensure that Trump lost in 2020, now going full MAGA, it's hilarious. And one of the best theories I've heard for Zuck's transformation, we were joking about this on Monday's show, maybe last week's show, whenever we were talking about Zuckerberg going dark MAGA like he's Elon Musk. We were joking about he did MMA for a couple of months and he's gone full right wing. There's actually something to that. More testosterone generally translates to more conservative beliefs and conservative thinking. It, I think, is something to pay attention to. Zuckerberg, by the way, along with Musk and along with Jeff Bezos of Amazon, will be attending Trump's inauguration on Monday. Do you realize how far the left has fallen? They're not able to even get a good protest or a good boycott of Carrie Underwood going. Underwood has announced that she's going to be performing at Trump's inauguration along with Lee Greenwood, and there's an opera singer that the same guy that performed the national anthem at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally. This was October, folks, October. They were calling this a Nazi rally. They were likening this to the infamous Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden back in the 1930s, Trump's rally. Now they can't even get a good Carrie Underwood record-burning protest going. Where the hell is Antifa? That's a serious question. Where are they? I was honestly anticipating cities burning to the ground when Trump won. I'll let you folks in on a little secret. I didn't want to say anything on the air because I didn't want to jinx it. And I had the exact same feeling in 2020, and it obviously didn't come to fruition. I thought with probably about 3 weeks to go in the general election, probably early to mid-October, I was feeling very confident, like shockingly confident that Trump was going to win. And I didn't want to say anything. I was giving all the data that was basically telling the exact story that I wanted to tell without predicting Trump is going to win. Because if Trump lost, if the same thing that happened in 2020 happened in 2024, I didn't want to be, well, Dan told us. But I, honest to goodness, thought it. And if you were listening to my show before the election, you probably heard me say in as many words, look, the data is pointing to a Trump win, and a Trump win by a bigger margin than you might think. And everybody I know in my personal life, I was telling the exact same thing. Trump is probably going to win, and he's probably going to win by a bigger margin than people think. I was actually not predicting a popular vote win. I thought there was a very good chance he was going to sweep the swing states, but I didn't see, and I could not have possibly predicted what's happened since. The left is so defeated. You saw it during Hegseth's confirmation. This would have been, the guy was unfaithful to his wife. He possibly had a drinking problem. There were anonymous sources at Fox that said he showed up drunk on set. Do you realize what those same allegations, the same basic form of the allegations against Brett Kavanaugh did in 2018? They were apoplectic with rage. Hegseth is probably going to get confirmed with every single Republican supporting him. I will go so far as to say I believe Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard, the other two quote-unquote controversial nominees, are also going to face little resistance here. Because Hegseth was, in days gone by, a low-hanging fruit for the Democrats. You just nail it. It was the politics of personal destruction. This was Teddy Kennedy 101. This was the easiest borking Democrats ever had. Borking, of course, the destruction of Robert Bork, the Supreme Court nominee from Reagan, who eventually gave way, and we got Antonin Scalia for about 2 decades. So thank you very much, Teddy K. Democrats couldn't even manage that. They haven't been able to manage anything, it seems like. They haven't been able to get any of their preferred narratives out there. Paul, do we have the Harry Enton soundbite? I can't seem to find that anywhere. And okay, thank you. On this LA wildfire thing, Democrats have been trying to cover up for their own incompetence for the past several days, pretty much since this started. And they've been trying to blame climate change for it. I'll tell you what, while I give you some time to get that soundbite, let's give you the cold hard cash contest word this hour. That word is credit, C-R-E-D-I-T, credit. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword credit to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000 in cash, not credit, courtesy of iHeartMedia. Democrats, as I was saying, thank you very much, Paul. I know we kind of threw a curveball at you there. Democrats have been trying to get every natural disaster, right? Every single natural disaster, they try to blame climate change, even going so far as to blame earthquakes on climate change. Earthquakes, shifting tectonic plates deep below the surface of the earth. They want to blame on climate change. It's not working. Even though Gavin Newsom has put together a website that he debuted to try to dispel the myths, the misinformation surrounding his leadership, it's not working. People are seeing right through it. They're seeing right through the failures of Karen Bass, the inept mayor. They're seeing through the DEI fire chief, as well as her assistant, who, yes, she understands as a lesbian woman is probably not going to be strong enough to carry her husband out of a fire. But she even said this in a video. She was bragging about this. Well, your husband was in a fire, so he was probably in a place he shouldn't have been in anyway. So what, he burns to death because your arms are too weak to carry him out? Lady, is that what you're saying? Americans see this for what it is. And when even the far left Los Angelinos are starting to get it through their thick skulls that they're voting for the least competent people on earth. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to give that other party a shot. You know, Democrat messaging isn't working, but what they always try to do is to do the climate change narrative. And what climate change is in a situation like this is about the most convenient narrative there is, because, well, it's societal forces that are well beyond the control of California's governor or Los Angeles' mayor. This is a national problem. This is an international problem. This is the gods of weather being angry at us and smiting our city because we have a few too many SUVs. It absolves them of the responsibility of fire response by placing all of the blame on something they can't control, but Republicans can because they aren't signing on to the Paris Climate Accord and they aren't allocating enough money for climate change. It's a way of shifting the blame and of abdicating any sort of actual responsibility. Harry Enton on CNN this morning did a rather outstanding segment. And Enton, I know he's a leftist, but I actually think he is a very, very good data guy. And I used a lot of his work in the run-up to the election because he's at least being honest. He was on CNN's New Day this morning and showed the Google searches for wildfire and climate change. One was up several thousand%. The other was down.
I don't think Americans are making this connection. And the way we can see this in right here and now, take a look at the monthly change in Google searches. Look at the searches for wildfire, up 2,400%. My goodness gracious. This is the most amount of people searching for wildfires ever, going back since Google Trends began back in 2004. But look at climate change. Look at the change. It doesn't go hand in hand with wildfires. It's actually down. It's down 9%. And I also looked in California. There has been no increase in the number of searches for climate change. So the bottom line is this. Americans are definitely interested in learning about these wildfires. They're interested in following the news about the wildfires, but they are not making that connection with climate change.
And that's for one of two reasons. One, because they're not tuning in to the liberal messaging on networks like CNN that are constantly reinforcing this idea that climate change is responsible for this wildfire going out of control and not the fact that there wasn't water in the freaking fire hydrants. Or two, they are consuming that narrative and they're wholly rejecting it. Either one is really, really bad news for the propagandists that spread that narrative. And it's really bad news for the people who are trying desperately to deflect blame. Another way we can see liberals are losing this sort of battle for the hearts and minds of Americans is in the transgender issue. We'll get to that next.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
43 southbound, Browndale to the Marquette, taking 15 minutes. You got a crash off to the right shoulder at Fond du Lac. On 4394 southbound, add another 10 to the Mitchell, slow end to the KK River Bridge. If you see any issues, call the Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank total traffic tip line at 414-944-5111. I'm Kevin Henry.
This report is sponsored by Harwood Place Retirement Living in Wauwatosa, located in the heart of Wauwatosa. Harwood Place Retirement Living's newly renovated apartments and updated pricing are changing the face of how to live your golden years. To learn more or schedule a tour, visit harwoodplace.org.
Our new and improved iHeartRadio app has made it even easier to enjoy the radio station's podcasts and playlists you love. How? Well, we've added everything you love about your car radio into the free iHeartRadio app. With easy-to-use presets, you can now save your favorite stations on the app, just like in your car. And with the all-new live radio dial, it's easier than ever to discover new stations you'll love based on your location or favorite genre. Find out what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
Do
you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Attention to quality and detail. At the end of the day, when you're looking for the right home builder, that's what counts. When you're ready to build, schedule a Bellman Homes model tour. You'll see we're the measuring stick for home building quality.
Bellman Homes.
While the days stay cool and the snow lies deep, the deals are heating up at Pheasant Park Resort in Door County, offering a range of winter specials that are sure to sound good to you. Pheasant Park Resort features luxurious 2- and 3-bedroom fireplace suites, an indoor pool and sauna, an exercise facility, and more. Whether for a week or a weekend, you can book your winter getaway at pheasantparkresort.com or call 800-392-3921. Pheasant Park Resort. More and more reasons for every Door County season.
In today's Marketers Report, Kate Cronin, Chief Brand Officer of Moderna, weighs in on the speed of audio production.
In this day and age, and particularly at Moderna, where we have new information coming out on a regular basis, being able to feed that information to the audio format makes being nimble and pivoting easy, and that's what I really like about it.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management, know the difference. Committed to covering the important stories and issues that the rest of the media won't touch. This is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN. Conservative thought. Not just talk. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Longtime listeners will recognize this bump as the one we always played to introduce Forgotten History. I guess it's now in the general rotation, but I do have what I think will be a very good announcement. And why not? This, I guess, is as good a time as any to make it. Forgotten History is coming back. We may or may not have some resolution on the music and podcasts issue. But you know what? It's been too long, and I enjoy doing Forgotten History too much. I have not yet decided if I'm going to debut it this week or next week, but each and every Thursday afternoon, likely at 5:30-ish, we will have a story from history that tells us a little bit about who we are as a people today. It is a segment that we debuted a couple of years ago. If you go to Forgotten History with Dan O'Donnell as a podcast, you will see we've got roughly 100 episodes, I would guess. We are going to bring it back as probably about a 3 or 4 minute segment that is either going to be done live or recorded. Again, I haven't quite made up my mind just yet. The aim is to get this out to as many people as humanly possible, whether as a radio feature that can possibly appear on other iHeart stations or to serve as a standalone podcast. We just think there's a whole lot of potential for it. And frankly, it's been a passion of mine. So I will always take your suggestions for little-known stories from history. It doesn't have to be from the founding period or any particular period, just an American history story that you might not have heard in school, that most people might not know, but that has meaning, that has something that we can take away today. That is what Forgotten History is and always has been, and hopefully it will be coming back either this week or next week. Tomorrow, I can guarantee you, we are going to be playing America's favorite game show. Be sure, if you're thinking about playing, to remember just what Yvette Nicole Brown and Kim Whitley, or maybe, as it were, Kim Whitless, talking about Karen Bass and why the only reason people are criticizing her is because she's a black woman. That just might make an appearance on America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist? Tomorrow. Today, the House of Representatives, while the Senate was busy confirming or holding a confirmation hearing for, I should say, Pete Hegseth, as well as a number of other nominees, including Doug Burgum as Secretary of the Interior. Obviously, that one not nearly as controversial. He'll probably be confirmed almost unanimously. There were a number of others. Hegseth was the big one. While that was going on in the Senate, the House of Representatives, under new Republican leadership, was putting a ban on boys and girls sports, banning transgender students from girls sports. Something that House Speaker Mike Johnson said is probably a nearly unanimous issue.
This is a 80-90% issue or more, depending on which poll you look at, because again, it comports with common sense. It should not be a partisan issue. We should have every single member of Congress united on this. And I would challenge all of you to go ask the questions of the Democrats who voted against it, how in the world they can justify that, because I don't understand the argument at all.
The legislation now moves to the GOP-controlled Senate, where it theoretically could pass, but it will almost certainly face a Democrat filibuster. 2 Democrats did vote in favor today. The measure passed 218 to 206. Vicente Gonzalez and Henry Cuellar, who is a little bit more of a centrist Democrat from Texas, voted with Republicans. There was one present vote, Representative Don Davis of North Carolina. Republicans did put the issue front and center before voters. In fact, one of the most potent ads that Donald Trump cut during this election cycle, and the one that was widely considered to be his most effective, was on this issue. And the message was very effective. Kamala is for they, them. Donald Trump is for you. Political messaging does not get better than that, folks. The ad showed Kamala supporting taxpayer-funded transgender surgeries for prison inmates and said it was so outrageous, even the New York Times couldn't believe that it was real. Sure enough, there was an article in the Times where they fact-checked this claim and said, as surprising as this is, Kamala Harris really did support this. In fact, she said in a video when she was running for president in 2020, this was back in 2019, that yes, she does support taxpayer-funded trans surgeries for inmates. You have to pay for a prison inmate to chop his you-know-what off. It's insane. It is not sane. It is not rational thought. Johnson is right. 80 to 90% of people don't just disagree with the idea that we should be paying as taxpayers for trans surgery for inmates, but that boys should be playing in girls' sports. If you are a biological male, you compete with other biological males. There is a scientific reality at play here that men are better at physical activity than women. Not all men. I would get smoked in golf by any probably high school girls golfer, okay? Any college golfer on the girls' college team would beat me. I'm not so... Caitlin Clark would whoop me in basketball. Caitlin Clark would not score a single point in one-on-one against Victor Wembanyama. And the biggest reason for that, she's like 6 feet tall, he's 7'5". That's a biological difference, okay? Over and above that, males were biologically designed. We evolved or we were created. I happen to believe both. We were divinely created and we did evolve. Please don't email. Please don't text. I don't want to hear it. I'm not here to argue theology. The basic biological structure was that females bear and nurture the young, while males would go out and hunt. Ergo, males needed to develop fast twitch muscles to be able to run after the game, the strength in their lower body and upper body and core to be able to wrestle a saber-toothed tiger to the ground and to take down a woolly mammoth with atlatls and spears. This is a biological reality. We've got thousands of years behind this. No one could possibly disagree, could they? Oh, yes, they could. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time now for an AOC update.
I think what I meant is, like, the world is going to end in 12 years.
Gardening, food, that comes out of dirt. Like, it's magic.
No, the only magic here is the love I have for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's stupidity. It is a long-time love affair. While I will always be faithful to my wife, she understands that this sort of love, me and AOC's stupidity, cannot be kept apart, because every time this woman opens her mouth, she makes the case for conservatism far better than I or anyone else could. And today she stood up on the floor of the House and accidentally proved Republicans right on this issue while she was opposing it. Let's see if you can figure it out, what she's saying.
Trans girls are girls. And for all the folks that are so concerned, thank you for your concern about women for the first time that I've seen. I don't know about y'all. I don't know who's been to gym class lately, but girls, even if you only believe in two genders, I've played co-ed sports all the time.
Okay, so wait a second. She's played co-ed sports, meaning sports with boys and girls. But if there are sports with boys and girls that are specifically designated to be for boys and girls, would that also mean that there should be special designations for sports with boys and sports with girls? In other words, that there are differences between the sexes, which is why we compete in separate boys sports and separate girls sports, except when we come together for boys and girls sports in co-ed sports. So does that make AOC bigoted for co-ed? The very existence, in other words, of co-ed sports proves that there are biological differences. Ladies and gentlemen, that is today's AOC update. Of course, other Democrats got up and spoke about this, but this is yet another way that they are not winning hearts and minds. And in fact, they have gone so far to the left. Even for them, imagine trying to explain to Barack Obama in 2009, when he was trying to convince voters that he totally wasn't in favor of gay marriage, of legalizing gay marriage. No. He wasn't going to. He believed marriage was between one man and one woman. And then, of course, his vice president, old Uncle Joe, accidentally gave the game away. Oh, yeah, we're totally going to, legalize gay marriage. Imagine telling him that within 10 years, after the gay rights movement gets the civil right that they had long wanted, the ability to marry legally and be recognized by the state and get the benefits of marriage, that the next civil rights issue would be putting dudes in girls' locker rooms and seeing how many women's sports men can dominate. It's not a civil rights issue, you psychopaths. If there were no biological difference, Caitlin Clark would not be playing in the WNBA. Asia Wilson won the WNBA's MVP award. She scored like 26 points per game for the Las Vegas Aces. She was hilariously complaining about the fact that Caitlin Clark got her own signature shoe, that Nike, she was complaining so much and so loudly that there was no Asia Wilson shoe, that Nike gave her her own signature shoe just to shut her up, and obviously to prove that they weren't racists, because the white girl got a signature shoe even though Asia Wilson was the WNBA MVP. If Asia Wilson, self-proclaimed best player in the WNBA, was so upset that Caitlin Clark got a massive shoe deal and that NBA players make way more, why the hell does she not try out for the NBA? Think she'd score 26 points a game against the New York Knicks? Karl Anthony Towns would give her a concussion probably within the first 30 seconds. There's no competition. They all know it. But Democrats are captive to this nonsensical fantasy that somehow there's no difference between the sexes, and that mentally ill men or men who are trying to commit. Do you remember the movie back in the 90s? They made fun of this concept. It was called Joanna Man. And it was about a washed-up NBA player who joins the WNBA and dominates so he can still play basketball. Seriously, Joanna Man, look it up. Might have been early 2000s. They all know the biological differences. Why do you think there has been a grand total in the NHL? I can still remember this, like 30 years ago. I can still remember her name because I thought it was a really awesome thing. In an NHL preseason game, the Tampa Bay Lightning trotted out a female goaltender by the name of Manon Rhéaume. She was a French-Canadian woman, and she played goalie for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I think she did pretty well. It's the first time a woman played hockey. It was the only time. If there were no differences, how come there aren't members of the UW women's hockey team, which is like one of the best in the country and has been for decades? How come none of them are challenging Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals record? Just like the guy from the Capitals, whose name I'm totally blanking on. Alexander something or other. Shows how much I've followed hockey since the Rangers won the Cup 30 years ago. I'm sure I'm already getting texts about who it is. He plays for the Capitals. Alex Alex Ovechkin, excuse me. I was going to say Alex Kovalev, and he retired like 20 years ago. Seriously, I just have to. We don't have a hockey team in Wisconsin, so apologies to the Admirals. We don't have an NHL team, and I don't care about the Nashville Predator. Oh, that's Milwaukee's NHL affiliate. I don't care. How come there are no women playing in the NHL? How come the best women's softball players are not in Major League Baseball? Just this is and it sounds so odd, like I'm saying the obvious, because you and I understand it. Democrats apparently don't. But the fact that everybody sort of thinks like you and I do now is yet more proof that the Democrats don't have nearly the influence they used to.
It's time for Rapid Traffic.
For the place you want to go, Lynch McQuantico Total Traffic Center. 20 minutes eastbound 94 from Moreland to the Marquette. Delays from the Zoo to past 35th. Jammed westbound from the Marquette to Hawley and Highway 100 to Moreland. That's a 25-minute trip. If you see any issues, call the Total Traffic Tip line at 414-944-5111. I'm Kevin Henry.
This report is sponsored by PureTalk.com. It's time to ditch big wireless. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on America's most dependable 5G network. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month with Pure Talk.
When winter's frosty grip squeezes out all the joy of the season, that's when to heat things up by playing the nationwide Cold Hard Cash Contest on Newstalk 1130 WISN.
Win some cash.
9 times each weekday. Listen for the keyword to enter at newstalk1130.com, and you could win the hourly prize of $1,000.
The Cold Hard Cash Contest is presented by North Star American Bistro in Brookfield, using fresh local ingredients to create superb American cuisine. NorthStarBistro.com.
I'm Matt Geyer, founder of MKG Transport, manufacturers from Madison to Green Bay to Fond du Lac to Kenosha to Rockford's competitive advantage. In 2008, MKG was me driving one truck and my wife running the business. We realized communication is a huge advantage for MKG partner businesses. So did they. Well, MKG Transportation's capabilities quickly expanded. Our commitment to local manufacturers' success never wavered. MKG is not a shipping company or messy freight brokerage. We are in manufacturing process delivery experts. It's simple, like seeing freight ready to go on your dock and your MKG mover asking if you need it handled, to becoming an extension of your shop, understanding needs and scheduling, and making sure MKG is prepared to help as and when you need. You'll wonder if your MKG moving team is getting briefings from your work-in-progress status meetings. Movers care and recognize your consistency is keeping trucks in service and close to be able to handle your needs. Same day, next day. Our drive, manufacturing movement, MKGTransport.com.
James Imaging Systems, local support, local accountability, local business technology representatives. Listen to Matheson Manufacturing President Al Leidinger.
She still checks in to see how things are going and if we need anything, so I really do appreciate that from a customer service standpoint.
Michael Quizan, IT Systems Administrator at Great Midwest Bank, discovered the benefits of working with the local team at James.
Our cost from supplies perspective went down. I mean, we're talking about thousands in a year. So we saved a lot of money by bringing James Imaging on.
James Imaging Systems client Luther Gray, Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, on dealing with James.
They are making sure you get the full value and life of every product that you have with them.
Local support, local accountability, local people. Get it all with James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
Hi, this is David Wilhelm, here to tell our customers that we take great pride in your loyalty. So thank you for making your clear choice for more Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Your clear choice for more Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Hospitalized Medicine has a lifelong prescription for every symptom, and each prescription causes more symptoms. Total Health works to restore health so you don't need their pills or treatment. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com.
I'm defense attorney Tom Grieve. If you drive drunk, you will be pulled over and you will be arrested. You cannot talk your way out of a DUI, but you can keep your mouth shut for your best defense. Call my team of award-winning former state prosecutors. You are only guilty if you are convicted. GrieveLaw.com.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know, that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 50% off all windows, plus no interest or payments for 2 years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
Our new and improved iHeartRadio app has made it even easier to enjoy the radio station's podcasts and playlists you love. How? Well, we've added everything you love about your car radio into the free iHeartRadio app. With easy-to-use presets, you can now save your favorite stations on the app, just like in your car. And with the all-new live radio dial, it's easier than ever to discover new stations you'll love based on your location or favorite genre. Find out what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio!
Time in nearly 15 years, Milwaukee has a new archbishop, the 12th archbishop of the 10-county Milwaukee diocese, installed today in a mass at the Cathedral of St. John. Jeffrey Grob officially became Milwaukee's 12th archbishop this afternoon. He was a Dane County farm boy, according to Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. I did not know he grew up in Dane County. I knew he grew up on a farm. He is 63 years old. He holds 2 doctorate degrees, spent much of his adult life in leadership in the Chicago Archdiocese. Milwaukee has roughly 500,000 Catholics in not the city, not the county. This is 10 counties, the largest denomination in the world. There are roughly 1 billion Catholics across the globe. I myself am a Catholic. I no longer really go to Catholic church. I will always consider myself to be a Catholic. Look, I married a Protestant woman. We go to a non-denominational church that we love very much. The pastor there is an incredible, incredible guy. In fact, I just had coffee with him last week. He is a loyal listener of the show and said how proud he was of me. And I was like, thank you so much. I should also mention that the outgoing Archbishop Jerome Listecki is also just a truly wonderful, great man who had the unenviable task of following up the current Cardinal of New York, Timothy Dolan, brother of our very good friend Bob Dolan, former WISN personality, current and I believe always loyal WISN listener. And he did so with grace and aplomb and really shepherded, pardon the phrase, I guess that's apt. It's not really a pun. He shepherded the diocese through, I would think, probably its most difficult era. A lot of the corruption and the abuse happened not during Dolan's term, but Archbishop Rembert Weekland. And while I don't want to speak ill of the dead, if he wasn't about as liberal as they come, and he served for, 25 years, 77 to 2002, I think, when Dolan was installed, he would have been absolutely pilloried. What he allowed, first of all, paying hush money to a lover as the Archbishop of Milwaukee, and then shuttling priests to parish to parish to parish in an effort to cover up the horrific abuse. I'll tell you, I was disgusted to be a Catholic when all that came to light. Listecki, he authorized the settlement. He took the church through bankruptcy as a result of that. And I think that diocese is in a stronger position than most other dioceses in the United States, and one of the strongest positions it's ever been in. Now, the Catholic Church has long had a problem in people like me who grow up Catholic. I went to a Catholic grade school, St. Mary's Hills Corners. I was a member of that church for a long time, and nothing against it. I still love it. I still consider it my home. I'm still hoping that they'll make room in that little cemetery that they have outside for me to be buried in. It's where I've always wanted to be buried, looking over, because I grew up in the shadow of St. Mary's Hills Corners. My childhood home was right in that little neighborhood. And I love it. But the Catholic Church just doesn't have appeal for a whole lot of people who are gravitating towards these non-denominational churches. And what Jerome Listecki did was to be able to reach out in a way similar. Now, he wasn't the same dynamic speaker as Cardinal Dolan, but in his own way to try to keep people and to grow the church, to build it back, to keep people like me in the pews and coming back and being faithful to the church. He was just a wonderful, down-to-earth man. He's a great guy. I wish him nothing but the best in his retirement. Hopefully, in the next day or two, we will be able to talk to the new Archbishop Grob. We were going back and forth, the Catholic Church and I, about having him on today. Obviously, it is a very busy time for him, so we couldn't make that happen. Maybe tomorrow we'll speak with him. He is one of the most significant civic leaders, in addition to a religious leader, in our community, and I would love to get to know him a little better. Perhaps we will have that tomorrow. We will have Guess What's Racist. We will have more conservative thought and not just talk right here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.